don't get excited by this, by the way. I'm going to bring some very little musical examples. I'm not going to play anything resembling a piece of music, but the grocer boy's whistle, or how I learned to write the dodecaphonic row. Okay, so I mean, this talk is basically about music that sounds awful at first, but if you give it a chance, you might like it eventually. And in my case, that eventually is about 30 years it took me to get to like it. When I was an unusual teenager, I listened to Radio 3 back when it was good. And I remember this feeling of total shock when I first heard the music of Schoenberg, one of the second Viennese school. So looking around the room, I could see some faces don't even know who the first Viennese school was. But I remember the second Viennese school, and it just sounded like the world was falling in. It's incredibly angst-ridden, totally atonal. It takes a while, but eventually I did get used to it. I thought, well, if I can do that, maybe I should share that journey. So, I used to be a teacher, and it's all about measurability these days. Any teachers in the house? I got out of teaching, I tunnelled out, and everything's about measurable outcomes. So this is my measurable outcome. So I'm going to tell a joke now, which you won't be able to get because it's too complicated. Except I believe we have a composer in the audience. Thanks, Tim, for bringing a composer to talk about atonality. You just keep, I don't want any trouble from you. And you can't get it, you won't like it. And then, as I explain more about the topic, you will eventually find it funny. I'm going to keep on asking it until you find it funny. So, here it goes. Arnold Schoenberg walks into a bar and says, "I'd like a gin, but no tonic." No, you're pretending. You can't like. So I haven't told you yet. There's a whole problem about measurable education. Anyway, so that's a bit of satire about education. Anyway, so there's no way I can persuade you to like music, but I did find an advert on the internet to do the job for me. So sit back and enjoy it.
Arnie Schoenberg and his second Viennese school. Yes, friends, the International Matthias Bavard Society proudly presents its first exciting new album containing 187 of the all-time greatest hits from the beloved 12-tone master. You get selections like Grocer from Schoenberg's Pierre Lunaire. This catchy melody from Berg's Altenberg Lied. And remember this from the romantic second movement of the symphony by Bavard. Just like music lovers, all of the most popular 12-tone rows, and only this morning you were whistling in the shower or humming on your way to work. Complete in one collection, including the immensely popular Pieces for Orchestra by the same genii, like the delightful Three Pieces for Orchestra of Alban Berg.
Okay, well, you get a flavour. Now I didn't even realise it was really a joke. I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. Good advert for it. A little bit mainstream, but yeah, when I say that I actually do genuinely enjoy that kind of music, I get sort of two equally annoying reactions. The first one, represented by the figure on the left, is somebody says, "Oh, no, there's no way you could possibly really like that music. You must be pretending just to impress people." Now, if it's my kind of life plan to impress people by listening to Schoenberg's Fourth String Quartet in my own bedroom, it hasn't worked out. But it's just annoying. I hate when people tell me what I'm really thinking. I mean, it's like, no, I actually do like it. It did take me 30 years, but I do really like it. And the other type is like, Schoenberg, yeah. Oh, he's great, isn't he? He broke all the rules. No, he didn't actually. But comes that. But don't you find it a little bit safe, a little bit mainstream? I prefer music written by fucking microbes. So, I mean, these people want to be more obscure than you are. It's like, oh really? And it's like, this whole putting down people, but for liking something more mainstream than them. So both these people are my enemies. And you know, I take a leaf out of the pages of Schoenberg, who wrote the Story of Art, and his introduction says something like, "There's no bad reason for liking something. If you like something, don't matter how cheesy or mainstream, that's fine. You know, you get pleasure from it. But there may well be bad reasons not to like something. So I'm going to try and remove some of the barriers to liking atonal music. And so I'm going to try and steer a course between these two people here, and answer two questions. One of which is, you know, why does it sound so bad, for want of a better word, so difficult to listen to? And if it does sound bad, why should you listen to it? Well, let's see. So, to answer those questions, go back in time to between around 1890 and it will go on. We'll come back. 1890 to 1910, there's this amazing explosion in European culture, sort of presaging the sort of collapse, I suppose, of the centrality of European culture. And you know, all the rules were broken away. It just seemed like the world was falling into people, and you know, it was a shocking time. And you know, the music at that time, it's not just the music, it's also the painting as well, and the literature and science and everything. But the music does sound, it breaks all the traditional rules. And to understand atonal music, you need to understand a little bit about tonal music. So I'm going to just explain a little bit about what tonal music is. Okay, so you may recognise this. This is the musical scale. And it's a hierarchical system. One note is more important than the others. And this note we call the tonic. Right? Store that little fact away because it may come useful later on. So that's the tonic. It's kind of the most important note. So it enables you to construct structure around that. And would anybody like to have a guess? Not the composer in the audience, but would anybody else like to have a guess as to what the second most important note in the scale is, apart from the tonic? No. Look, we've got the names underneath. So go on.
Is it the fifth?
Oh, very good. Yes, you've also been.
Yeah.
Well, you've also been to one of my talks before. Very, very well done. You get a point. You get one of those T-shirts, actually. Can I do that? Can I give away prizes? No. Right. It is indeed. Yes, the fifth. If you know all this already, I hope you find, you know, it's like, for you, it's like a tragedy, isn't it? But for everybody else, I don't know, for you it's comedy, for everybody else it's a tragedy. Anyway, so this is the fifth. It's a really fundamental interval in music. And music's about the spaces between the notes, not just the notes. And there's a law I found out. Now my name's Andrew Myers, and this law is called the Meyer-Lipps law, which is nearly the Myers-Lipps law, which I quite like. I think everybody should have a law nearly named after them. But yes, yeah, the fifth. It's a very powerful fundamental interval, and it's the basis for tonal music. And just add another note in the middle, and you get a triad. The chord, that's the basis for a lot of. And to this day, people still write tonal music, and there's nothing wrong with that. With the scale and the chords, you can write great music. Schoenberg himself said there's a lot of great music still to be written in C major. So, So this tonic dominant relationship is what's you know, as a basis for tonal music. I'm going to try and test your. We've got people who do know stuff, but I'm going to play the dominant and the tonic, and you've got to tell me when you think it's the tonic. Okay. So in other words, it's like a question and an answer. It's like tension and resolution. And for example, I'll want to start you off. So. Okay. Right, so can you feel how that sort of sounds finished, that movement from those two? Well, you'll get the idea. All right, so, right, let's have a look. So, right, so those are the two chords. I'll play them again, and when you think what's a tonic, put your hand up. Big clue. If I play this, no one.
Second one.
There's Well, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I was hoping for. That's that. You get the T-shirt. What we're doing here is we're going to put the Discord in to make it more interesting. So, right, can you hear how the right? Just put your hand up. Pretend you've got it. Okay, right. So it's this complicated stuff, you know. Anyway, so the point is, on that dominant note, that fifth note, you can add all kinds of notes in, so long as you resolve it to the tonic note. Right. That's the theme out of the way. Now some more jokes. So they should hold another meeting the week after the G7 summit and call it the C major conference. That should resolve everything. Because G7's a chord. Yeah. So. Yeah, and dissonance to consonance is it's like asking a question, getting an answer, and it's resolution. So that's the joke. So yeah, but bear with me, okay? So the point here is that there was a structure. This structure enabled composers to tell stories and build longer narratives. And during the 19th century, sort of this started to break down a bit, and composers spent more and more time on the dissonant chord, and they delayed going to the tonic, yeah. And it's kind of like I suppose stretching an elastic band, and at some point that tension the delay was too long. And all hell broke loose, and the world fell in. This is all 1900s, and the composer just rejected this tonic, or B flat, I think. The composer, they tried to get away with this tonic dominant relationship because all the big stories of the world were starting to break down. We've got to reflect in our music. We can't have this sort of cozy setup. So composers do this in different ways. This is something called the whole tone scale. So let's hear this. It's like flashback music. We're all having flashbacks to the earlier better talks. So. The thing about that is you can't construct the perfect fifth. It doesn't exist in that scale. Anyway, you can't really compose music that for too long, but it's one way of avoiding that tonic-dominant relationship. Our friend Stravinsky, you may have heard of. This is a really lovely chord. Okay, so G C. Yeah. Now that's the example of extreme dissonance. But actually, it's not technically atonality because both those it's actually two chords at the same time, and both those chords are within the same scale, the scale of A flat minor harmonic, if you want to know. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this, even though it's very, very dissonant, it's still within the tonal system, believe it or not. It's just all the notes of the scale play at the same time. So the ear kind of listens to a different way. But here's another Stravinsky chord. So yes, it's two chords, a tritone apart, which is almost a fifth. It's not quite a fifth, so it's got this very unsettling feel to it. Are we okay? Are we okay? Yeah, okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that these are ways of creating dissonance which is still within the kind of familiar system of triads and scales. Along comes Schoenberg, and there's a story I don't have time to tell, but in 1907 he wrote his second string quartet, and it started off in a key, and then by the end of it he just let rip and moved away from the tonal system completely. And so you have this resolute, has tension, but it just doesn't get resolved. It never goes to the tonic. Okay, that's an example. I just want to point out the last chord here, which is an interesting one because it's got two dissonant intervals in it, major seventh and a tritone, and it's not really related to the triad structure at all. But it's still within a key in a way, but it doesn't go to that key. But by itself sounds quite dissonant, but it gets used an awful lot in rock music and jazz. I mean, any guitarists here might recognise this as the Hendrix chord, sort of very bluesy sound. So it's all about context, really. So if you have the Hendrix chord, but it's got a bass player playing a tonic, it sounds juicy. But if it's just by itself, then it sounds a bit, oh, that's a bit odd. Anyway, so they tried composing without rules for a bit, and they found it very difficult because it's very hard to have total freedom. Anton Webern, one of Schoenberg's pupils, he said, Arnold, I feel like when I've used all the 12 notes up, I have to stop. And he wrote these pieces of music which are sometimes, only about 50 seconds long. And that's one of the great things about atonality, that it's quite short. It's quite, you can just listen to a little bit of it and go, well, okay, I'll have some porridge. But he kind of sparked something in Schoenberg's mind. So, hey, wait a minute, why don't we have a system then where we just use all the 12 notes, but we just use them only one time each. We use that as kind of skeleton. Instead of having a scale, we have this thing called the dodecaphonic row, which is the title. That's like remember that from the beginning. So this is. Sounds pretty weird, doesn't it? But you don't actually hear that in the piece. It's kind of like it's hidden. It's just like a sort of DNA of the piece. They thought, brilliant. We've found a system which allows us to compose, because we can just come back to this ideas. And so, right, for mathematicians, what it is. How many permutations are just 4 notes? So you've got like 4 notes. How many different ways can you rearrange those notes without repeating them? No one's got maths at GCSE. So
24.
Yes. I was hoping to be able to release that information myself. But very good, you get a t-shirt. And a cup if you want, apparently. So, yes, 24. And, alright then. How many permutations are 12 notes? Yeah. 479 million 1,600. So we're going to have to take a t-shirt back from you, I'm afraid. So good news, everybody. There's no shortage of dodecaphonic rows. We're never going to run out of serial music. It's fantastic. So Schoenberg thought, I've cracked it. This is absolutely brilliant. I've saved European classical music from the oncoming chaos. And they did all kinds of quite crazy things with it, but it's all, in a way, it's quite traditional because it allowed them to compose longer pieces again. But here's one. So, and then, well, it's not exactly catchy, is it? But let's just play it backwards. We can just play it backwards, and we can turn it upside down, and we can turn it upside down and play it backwards, and use all those different permutations to generate ideas and pieces. So he thought, I've cracked it. By the way, interesting fact, Schoenberg invented the 12-tone system, but he was afraid of the number 13. I think that's actually quite funny. I'm reduced to like animation to get a laugh. I mean, oh no, not number 13. No, that's bad. By the way, it's quite funny, isn't it? That he composed the 12-tone system, and he was afraid of number 13. I think that's hilarious. And it's called triskidecaphobia, if you want to know. Well, I don't know. But he thought, I've cracked it. I've got the future of music. Grocer boys will be whistling my serial melodies in 50 years' time. And that didn't happen. I think because of the rise of the self-checkout machine. We don't even have grocer boys to whistle anything. But I know my postman certainly whistles in a atonal manner. Not everyone agreed with Schoenberg that he had saved Western classical music. He escaped from Nazi Germany. His music was condemned as degenerate. He went to Hollywood, had quite a nice life actually. New celebrities, played tennis with George Gershwin. Picked up all the hallmarks of a fake, but it did actually happen. But he wasn't thoroughly happy. Went to his local bar, said, "Oh, I'll have a straight gin." Come on, so keep up, because before I said a gin and no tonic, yeah, and now he goes to the bar and says, "I want a straight gin." By now you're thinking, Right, anyway, so the barman says, "Are you sure you don't want a tonic with that gin. So actually, no, I will have a tonic with that gin after all. Things aren't going too well for me. I'm supposed to be the king of the modern composers. I live in Hollywood. I live opposite Shirley Temple. The tourist buses, yeah, they stop outside her house and say, oh look, Shirley Temple lives there. They don't say, oh, and also Arnold Schoenberg lives just opposite. They don't know about me. And I thought that the grocer boys would be whistling my atonal melody, serial melodies, and they're not. And not on top of that, they're making fun of my music. And the composer Scott Bradley was influenced by Schoenberg, was a great admirer of his, but he did use Schoenberg's ideas to write the music for Tom and Jerry. And if you hear that music, it's absolutely fantastic music. It's quite comic, but I can sort of get that. I think I was listening to Schoenberg's Serenade Opus 24 the other day, and I thought if Christopher Nolan wanted to do a sort of dark reboot of Tom and Jerry, that'd be the perfect music for it. So yes, I'll leave you with that. A dark reboot of Tom and Jerry. It's quite dark, isn't it? I mean, it's anyway, look at him mocking little face there. Right. So obviously he went in a bit of decline. His Trisky decaphobia came back with a vengeance, and his family thought, well, we'll get a medium in to convince it was all nonsense. And a bad choice, because medium made it worse. He said, oh right, you're affecting number 13. Did you know that next year is going to be really bad for you because you're going to be 76? And that's 7 plus 6. Now, poor old Arnold, it not occurred to him at that point to be afraid of numbers adding up to 13. And now he's got this additional problem, and it just drives him mad. And sadly, he did indeed die at age 76 on Friday the 13th of July, 1951. But I mean, it kind of makes sense because he's probably so stressed out by it. He probably did. It's funny enough, isn't it? Right. Why would this music be my desert island discs? Well, because one reason is that if you're on a desert island, you're going to get sick of whatever music you take with you. But this atonal, serial, 12-tone music, you just can't get used to it. So it's always going to be quite interesting. And but how to actually enjoy it? I did promise you I'd try to give some tips on how to actually enjoy it. I think listening to it live is one method. Don't do other things. And let go of expectation. Don't expect that resolution. Enjoy the uncertainty. Enjoy the kind of feeling of, well, where's it going to go next? And maybe the music isn't difficult. Maybe we're being difficult by expecting things from it. That's my thought. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so Arnold Schoenberg, Anton Webern, and Alban Berg. Here's a new one for you. Go to a bar, and Anton Webern runs out of the bar and gets shot. That actually happened. Schoenberg says, I'm sick of this, I'm going to Hollywood. Alban Berg drinks 12 gins with different flavoured tonics, throws up, turns to the barman and says, that's show business. And that is the end of my story.